we did a workshop of 90 minutes on the future of work.
Yes.
And we explored methods on how to design new work environments.
And what is a new work environment? What can we imagine about that?
So we imagine spaces in the future where a lot of interactions happen and collaboration takes place. So a challenge for designers is to combine how people are going to work in terms of processes and new methods using design in their work environments, and how the space can support those new processes.
Okay.
And so what we experimented on is to try to understand future scenarios and try to understand how people will work in future scenarios and how technology going to look like in future scenarios, and how all these things can come together in the design of a new space.
And when you talk about the future, are we like 10 years from here or 20 years from here? What is the time frame?
That's a very interesting question, because actually, first of all, there is no the future. There are multiple futures that we can imagine.
Okay.
So what we try to do when we do workshops and also in our projects is to work with all stakeholders, clients, and any type of people to sort of visualize different type of scenarios and try to understand what are the scenarios that we prefer, and then design things to sort of reach that type of scenario. So there is not only one future, also we can build these scenarios in 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, depending on how far we want to try to look and anticipate the future.
Okay. And what kind of things can influence the workspace?
Well, I mean, definitely the main narrative of the future of work is technology.
Yeah.
And as we all know, automation is becoming very prominent.
Yeah.
But our vision is that actually the future of work going to be very human.
Yeah.
Because humans going to design technology. So we are trying to understand from a human perspective how technology is supposed to be designed, or we want to design them, to make them tools to help and support the human experience, and not just for technology to take over our daily jobs.
And did you have like example of tools that can be useful for that kind of work?
So generally the results of our workshop are spaces that enhance collaboration through technology. So through digital communication or through very responsive spaces, collaboration can be structured. And one of the main insights is that collaboration is not one mode. You have very different types of forms and shapes of collaboration, and also collaboration is to also be complemented with focus space. So this interplay of focus and collaboration is probably what's going to be happening in the future.
You're talking about different types of collaboration.
Yeah.
And what kind of types can we talk about? Do you have standard collaboration, or you have multiple person on the same project?
In terms of collaboration, I mean collaboration is a very difficult entity to define. But like we are here at the conference, and so we are talking about design thinking. So obviously, when we talk about collaboration, we talk about including different groups and different communities in the workspace.
Okay.
And we see that also corporate workspaces, they try to also include communities that don't belong to the corporation necessarily. They try to include users, they try to include the wider community to have a wider conversation where public and private is not the main differentiation.
Okay.
So we try to sort of like create spaces that include multiple communities to have a wider conversation and to create innovation.
Okay, and do you think that technology is like a tool that is useful for the person who wants to, establish that kind of collaboration, or do you think it can be, more difficult with new technology?
I mean, we need to look at work from different perspectives, in the sense that work has different lenses. So you can see a work at an individual level, and we see that the workforce is becoming more and more independent, and they are working from different locations. We are all like knowledge workers that work from multiple locations. So So in that sense, yeah, digital technology and communication is key. Clearly, when you talk about work in an organization, like in a physical space, then digital technology can actually separate you, because I can send you an email from one desk to another, and it's probably better if I come to talk with you. So we have this, different usage of technology depending on what the human experience, is like.
So technology is not always the solution, but it can be helpful if it's.
Exactly. Technology is a tool, and technology, as any tool, technology can be used. But the very important thing to understand first is the context where we use the technology. So the context actually informs how technology is supposed to be used, and when technology is useful, the same technology can be useful or not.
Because a lot of persons have the reflex to go direct to a technological solution, and sometimes it just be in front of each other and talk can be the only way to really solve a problem.
Yeah. So exactly. So I think the type of work we try to do is to start from the human experience, start to understand, mapping the human experience, and mapping the different stages of the human experience interactions, and then just offer some technological solution at each point of this experience.
Okay.
So in this way, the technological solution is not the starting point, but it's just like what supports the experience itself. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have some tips that comes from the workshop of yesterday?
I actually don't. I think one of the tips that I can extract from the workshop of yesterday is that it's very important to think about the future.
Yeah.
And when you think about the future, you don't necessarily need to be realistic. You don't necessarily need to try to think of a future that is easy to realize. You can think about a future that is your ideal future, and then from there, do something that we call backcasting. So do something that do like a sort of activity of try to understand from this ideal future how you can come back and what are the easy steps to take to get to the future. In this way, maybe you're gonna do like a very small step towards the future. Maybe the future is gonna be different, but at least you have an information, you have like a starting point to do something in the present. So this relationship between present and future is actually something practical.